You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. As always, I'm your guys' host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a player spotlight interview, it's actually his second time being on the show, is 2016 NFL Draft prospect, defensive back out of Division II's Lock Haven University. He's Tyrai Anderson. As always, Tyrai, I appreciate you taking some time today. I know that you are actually still in Florida, and you have been you've been there for the last few days as you actually played in the National Bowl yesterday, where you were able to record 3 tackles and an interception. Talk about that experience, being able to play with some of the top small school talent in the country, and how do you feel you performed? I mean, like I said, 3 tackles and interception. How do you feel you represented Lock Haven University?
Thanks for having me, Chris. And yesterday was just a great experience. Like you said, I was able to be around a lot of talented guys from all across the states. And, I really feel like I put on a great show for my school and also myself in front of the NFL and CFL scouts that were in attendance at the game. And like you said, I was able to record 3 tackles and an interception. I was just coming off of a broken arm, so I think that I wasn't able to actually show how physical I could actually be. But, I just took advantage of my opportunity and played through everything, and I think I did a pretty good job.
And I know that broken arm kind of hindered your senior season there at Lock Haven University. How big of an opportunity was this for you to participate in the National Bowl, and how eager and excited were you to finally put the pads back on?
This was definitely a great opportunity, and coming off of that injury, it was kind of a hard injury. It definitely wasn't the way that I wanted to end my senior season, but I just had to be resilient. I had to fight through everything, and I just had to roll with the punches. It was either sit down and cry about it or, take the injury for what it was and come back stronger. And like you said, it was great. It was a great feeling to be able to actually put on my helmet. I actually haven't touched my equipment since the day I broke my arm. It was just hard for me to actually just go into the locker room and just be around the guys, But I knew that I was a leader to my team, and I knew that it was great to have me around the locker room to push those guys who I led throughout the season. And like you said, it was just a great experience, and it was a great time just to be out there.
Again, 3 tackles and an interception in the National Bowl there in Florida. Talk about your interception if you can. I mean, what did you see that allowed you to pick the opposing quarterback off?
At the National Bowl, they wanted to put us in the best positions to be able to show NFL scouts, how physical we could be. So, we ran a lot of Tampa 2, we ran a lot of cover 2, and we ran a lot of cover 1 with a little bit of zone mixed in there as well. My first time coming onto the field, we ran some cover 2, and I actually was going up against one of the top receivers that was at the camp. I can't remember his name, but I know that he wore number 4, and the guy was definitely a talented receiver. And the first time he got me a little bit, I jammed him on cover 2, got good hands on him, and turned to run with him in the zone, and he got a good catch called on me. I just kind of like brushed it off, and I knew the next time it came around, I knew exactly what to do, and came around again. I think it was 2 plays later, and same thing, same situation, cover 2, and I was able to get my hands on him, force him inside to my safety, and just got to look into the zone and seen somebody threatening my area in the flats, and I was able to make a play on an under route coming from the other side of the field. So it was definitely just, again, me putting on display of my great field awareness out there.
Nice. And you know what? You mentioned it when when the receiver was able to get that catch on you. You said that you kind of had to just brush it off. And as a cornerback, kind of like a quarterback, you have to have that short-term memory. And like you said, you were able to brush it off and on to the next play. And there you go, making a interception again. Tyrai Anderson, the cornerback out of Lock Haven University, 2016 NFL draft prospect here. He had 3 tackles and an interception in yesterday's National Bowl, the 6th annual National Bowl down there in Florida. And how do you feel about the overall talent that was there, Tyrai? I mean, you mentioned the wide receiver number 4. You said he was probably the top wide receiver there. Overall, though, the talent, I mean, they say it's the top small school talent in the country playing in that game. Do you agree?
I definitely agree, man. You'd be surprised the kind of talent that they got there. I know that the other team was supposed to have a quarterback that was supposed to be playing in their starting quarterback, but he was actually received a offer to play in the Senior Bowl, so that speaks volume for the game right there. And it was just talent from everywhere, man. Like smaller guys, they had a guy from Dayton, wide receiver, last name Cushing, and he's receiving a lot of NFL attention. It was just a great chance to be able to actually go out there and in front of be able to perform and show that, I'm just as talented or not talented than these other guys that I'm facing. So I definitely felt good about my performance and the talent that the National Bowl was able to bring in. And I think that all the players were able to actually take advantage of that because I know I did.
Absolutely. And I do know there were a bunch of scouts in attendance. Any chance you're able to chat with any of them at all, maybe before or after practice or before and after the game?
I was able to speak to some scouts from the New York Jets. I know that the first day of practice, we were told that we're going to get off of practice early. The blue squad and the white squad was still practicing. And, just being the person that I am, whenever practice ends, I'm the guy that stays on the field. I'm the guy that's always trying to, like I said, put in extra work, just trying to perfect the craft. That's what it's all about. And it really didn't come to my attention until later on in the first meeting that night that the Atlanta Falcons scout had actually requested that they do that just to see who would actually stay on the field. And besides the guys, the wide receivers that were told to stay on the field, it was just me and another cornerback that actually stayed on the field. So the scout, he took notice to that, and I guess he talked to the owner of the game and asked him information about me. And I wasn't able to actually speak to him again. I was supposed to that night, but the meetings got canceled with the scouts because it was heavy rain down here in Miami. So.
Well, hey, definitely sounds great. I got to think it feels good to know that there's definitely some interest there, and you're just being yourself, like you said. It's not like you're doing anything new. You normally do stick around after practice and kind of perfect your craft and try and get better at anything that you need to get better at. And there are some scouts there looking and seeing that, and I got to think they're pretty impressed by that. Again, he's Tyrai Anderson. We're talking a little bit about the National Bowl that he was able to participate this past weekend, the cornerback out of Lock Haven University. And Tyrai, looking at your time at Lock Haven, I mean, can you believe that it's already over and that the next time you suit up to play a game will likely be in the pros?
Man, it's definitely a crazy thought just looking over the years that the game has gone by that fast. But I loved it, and I loved every minute at Lock Haven. I wouldn't trade it, wouldn't do it any other way. But like you said, just thinking about just walking around in Miami yesterday and just thinking about it and just seeing, like, all the people, all the great athletes that you're around, just knowing, like you said, the next time I could be putting on an NFL helmet. And that's just something that I always sit back and I think about, and that just helps me get through my workouts. That just helps me pair more, and that just helps me want it more. So, going into this next stage, that's everything, and that's the only thing that I'll be thinking about.
And talk about making the decision, coming out of high school to attend Lock Haven. I know you're from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which as of late seems like a hotbed for NFL talent. But did you have any other offers coming out of high school, and why did you feel that Lock Haven was the best fit for you?
I spoke to some teams. I spoke to a lot of PSAC schools. I also spoke to the coaches at Pittsburgh State. And, a lot of my friends on my team actually won Division I. Big names, guys that you hear now like Jamel Poteet, number 4 running back in the country coming out of high school. Matt Johnson, he's one of the top leaders at Bowling Greens right now. He was my quarterback. Shawnee Borowski, Rutgers, Noah Spence, Ohio State at Eastern Kentucky right now. It was just the feeling that you wouldn't play on a bigger stage like that. I decided that, if I wasn't going to do that, I can just stay close to home, and be close to my family and still play the game I love. And Lock Haven gave me a chance, and I just took advantage of it, man. That was always my mindset, just to show and prove to these coaches that I was actually talented, if not more talented than other guys in my position. So.
And there you go. And, looking at your time, these last 4 or 5 years at Lock Haven, you did redshirt your first year there, but really ever since you've been a staple on that Lock Haven Bald Eagles defense. I see throughout your career you've tallied 131 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 19 pass breakups. Again, you missed some time just this past season with that broken arm, but a very impressive career it was for you, Tyrai. How would you describe your time playing for the Bald Eagles in a very tough conference? Like you said, the PSAC is one of the tougher, if not the toughest, conference in all Division II. And if you were able to change anything about your experience at Lock Haven, would you?
I don't think I would ever change anything about the experience there. It was definitely a long ride. I was able to, like you said, be on the field and make a ton of plays for my team. It was just a humbling experience, man. I don't think that I would ever change anything about it, man. But that conference is definitely filled with talented players, and year in and year out, you see guys go to the NFL. I faced Trevor Hartman throughout my whole career at Lock Haven. He got picked up last year by the Arizona Cardinals. Another cornerback, Alhaj Shabazz, he went on to play for the Buccaneers. Justin Shirk, he's a good friend of mine from Harrisburg. He got a chance to go over with the coach, man. It's just, the conference is just filled with talent, man. And next year you'll be able to see it too. Lock Haven is going to have a long history after this year of bringing out some talented guys, man. A good friend of mine, was like a little brother to me, Daniel Strawbridge. He was just named All-American and first-team All-Conference this year, And that's just another guy that everybody will have to watch out. Kind of similar in size to me, but just a great guy, man. And, I just look forward to seeing him play.
Well, and you know what? Let's not stop there. Lock Haven, you guys are a part of that very tough conference, the PSAC, with teams such as Westchester, Shippensburg, Bloomsburg, East Stroudsburg. There's a lot of talented teams in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Who would you say is the toughest player that you've had to go up against throughout your career? Like you mentioned already, you've had to go up against some pretty tough wide receivers. You had to line up against Trevor Harmon from Shippensburg, got a shot with the Arizona Cardinals. And another name that stands out is John Schnars from East Stroudsburg. He and his quarterback had a great career there for the Warriors. Those are definitely 2 names that come off the top of my head. But what say you? Who would you say is the toughest wide receiver you've had to go up against?
I think I would definitely have to go in and say that John Schnars was definitely a tough competitor. I gave him my best game, and I'm pretty sure he gave me his best game. During that game, I think we held him to his lowest receiving yards throughout the whole year. We held him to, I think, 79 yards and 1 touchdown. And, man, he was just out there competing along with his quarterback, and they had 2 other talented wide receivers, man. And he just brought the best out in me. And actually, after I broke my arm, the game after that, I was told by my coaches that Miami had called in. They actually asked to see 2 games of me, and one of those games were actually against Trevor. And, I felt like I did pretty good that game. Total 7 tackles, and I think I had 4 or 5 targets with just 1 completion. And the completion wasn't on Trevor, but again, John. But again, it was one of their other talented wide receivers, number 29. So I have to go with John Schnars and the ESU Warriors, man. They're a very talented football team.
In a very talented conference, once again, the PSAC. Now, Tyrai, I was able to chat with you about 3 or 4 weeks into the season, I think it was. And now looking back, I mean, you guys ended the season 2-9. You guys didn't have a lot of team success. And looking at this season as a whole, you guys lost your first 6 games before getting a big win over Cheney. And then the next victory came against Millersville the following week. I just want to ask you, obviously, it's not fun going 2-9. We both know that. Anybody knows that. But how do you stay motivated when the team as a whole isn't finding much success? And does it affect your play at all when things aren't going your guys' way?
Like you said, we really didn't get the results that we wanted. We faced a lot of injuries throughout the season. We lost a lot of good guys, but, we're not going to use that as a crutch. But it just all comes with just chemistry. The team is built, and I believe that Lock Haven, with the new coaching staff they put in, Coach Tainer, he brought in some very good coaches. He kept some very good coaches, and I feel like they're on the right path, man. And I just think that from here on out, you'll definitely see the team continue to grab more wins. We let some slip from us. ESU, we let those guys slip. Bloomsburg, we lost in, I think, double overtime to those guys. And it was just tough losses, man. And, I don't like to talk about it much, but coming out of high school, I was on a very successful football team, Bishop McDevitt, same school as LaShawn McCoy, same school as Ricky Waters, And it was easy. It was kind of easy for me to battle with the losses that we endured at Lock Haven, just because how humble I am. And I think that's what made it easy for me. But, every single game I was definitely hungry for a win. And, who doesn't want to win? And that's at the end of the day, that's the ultimate goal, no matter what stats or anything. I'd rather go out there and see my boys get W's as opposed to putting up stats, But at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control, So just made the best of it. And like I said, I think you'll start to see the Bald Eagles definitely pick up some wins, and it'll come fast. They have some talented guys there.
You guys are listening to the CS podcast powered by the NUC NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. Go ahead and follow at NFL Draft Bible while you're at it. And, again, he's the cornerback, Tyrai Anderson, out of Lock Haven University, joining me as he gets ready for the 2016 NFL Draft. And, Tyrai, talk about your physicality that you bring to a secondary. I would say more times than not, it seems as if cornerbacks don't like to lay a big hit, or they shy away from the contact when it comes to getting after the ball carrier. But, watching you over this last year, being able to watch some of your highlights, it certainly doesn't seem like that's the case when it comes to you.
Yeah, man. Like, again, I was talking about my good friend Daniel, man. He's a head buster. He loves to come down and make big tackles, and he's always on me about it. He's younger than me, but he has a heart, man, and he's always telling me, man, you got to come down, and he calls it the boom, man. You got to lay that boom. So, ever since then, man, I just was definitely trying to come down and just be more physical in my play. I love being able to get my hands on wide receivers and take control of them and, disrupt things, But, again, I love to come down and make contact, And like you said, if you get a chance to look at any of my film, you definitely see that no matter what, I'm definitely going to try to come down and lay something on you, man. But it's just something that I think the game demands, man. You got to be a physical corner, man. You got to be able to separate yourself from these other corners that, they love to cover, but they don't like to fit into the run. So, like I said, me having 3 tackles in the game, I feel like that was big. I was able to show to those guys who maybe did know that I was a little bit hurt that even in the fire, injury or not, I'm still willing to come down and lay it on the line for my team, and be physical.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've said it many times. I don't think there's anything better than watching a physical cornerback who is obviously could shut a wide receiver down, but certainly isn't afraid to, like you said, lay the boom. Lay a hit stick on an opponent. So, like I said, nothing better than a physical a defensive back, cornerback. Now, Tyrai, when did you realize? Here you are. You're still in Miami, Florida, after the National Bowl. When did you realize that? You may just have what it takes to play professional football. Obviously the deal it's not guaranteed just yet. You obviously, you still have a lot of work to do. There's still a lot ahead of you. But when did you realize that you do have what it takes to play at the pro level and that you would give this whole thing a shot?
Like I said, man, I come from like a talented area, and I'm able to be around a lot of talented guys all the time. So, being able to work out with guys that are actually in the NFL, being able to hear from coaches and trainers who are able to see these players on a day-to-day basis, and for them to tell you that, hey, man, I think that you got what it takes, man. Like, you just got to stay focused, keep doing what you're doing, and it really doesn't dawn on you when you're actually out there on the field. But sometimes when I go back and I look at the film, man, I'm like, wow, man, like I'm really talented, and to be able to come down here, man, and in Miami and have this opportunity to again prove myself that I can play with these guys who are talented, these pro prospects. I think that's when you really start to get it, man. And then, like I said, man, whenever you realize it, I always say, man, that's when it's time to, just forget what everybody else is saying, man, and it's time to start focusing on you, man. And I'm looking forward to it, to this process, man. Like you said, it's still a long process, man, but I'm looking forward to it. I have two trainers back home in Harrisburg that are very loyal to me, Dave Brixis and Jim Lorner, and they're definitely looking forward to helping me. And over this Christmas break, I'll be starting that process. So, man, I'm just excited about it and on board about the whole process.
And I guess go ahead and talk a little bit more about that. With your collegiate career officially being over, you do have to now get into track shape, as they say, as you get ready for your pro day and any possible combines that you may be participating in. Tell us a little bit more about where you'll be training at these next few months and whether or not you have any information on your pro day.
Right now, I think that I'm going to be training at I know for sure that I'm going to be training with Dave Brixis at EXP Nation, and then I'll also be training at one of the largest sports complexes in the country at Spooky Nooks with Jim Lorner. And, both of those guys, man, they know what they're talking about. They've seen players. Jim works with Brent Grimes. He was actually the trainer with the Falcons during that whole lockout, so, he was able to be around a lot of talented guys, and he'll also be bringing in some guys that will actually be working out with me. I heard that there's another cornerback from Towson who's a pro prospect, so we'll get a chance to work out and get better together. And then same with Dave Brixis, man. He had some great guys come through there. Coons, Marcus Colston from the Saints, Jamie Thompson from the Colts. Man, the list goes on, so I'm definitely excited about the whole process, and I feel like they want to try to get me down into the 4.4 range in my 40. Right now I'm in the 4.5 range, so I definitely want to kind of bring that down because I feel like once teams are able to see that number and know, that I can move and that I can actually play in a faster game in a pro setting, I think that they'll be impressed by that. So, I'm just ready to start working hard and getting with the guys. Another good friend of mine, Jeremy Cornelius, he'll actually be training with me, so he'll be pushing me. He's a receiver, again, another talented guy out of Lock Haven, transferred from Purdue and Temple, so I'll be able to be around big receivers, NFL type wide receivers. So, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I know those guys, Jim and Dave, are definitely looking forward to pushing me, and they can't wait to get me back come December.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, you've already been able to play in an all-star game with scouts in attendance. Any opportunity you're able to get to just get in front of scouts, get in front of teams is just huge, especially for small school guys like yourself. Now, I see that the school has you listed at 6 foot. I mean, can you just give us your current weight, height and weight?
Yeah, right now I think I'm like I said, I was in a cast for 6 weeks, so I was not really able to do too much
Right.
lifting, so I dropped down in my weight a little bit. I'm around 177 right now. Usually when I get my height and everything, I'm around 6 foot. I think yesterday when I went and 2 days ago when they measured me down in Miami in front of the scouts, I think they measured me at 5'11" and some change. So I'm still close to 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that'll change as I go to different pro days, and I'm looking forward to going down to Temple's pro day. So we'll see how that works out as it comes. So yeah, right now they still got me listed around 6 foot, and my weight still around the same. I dropped from 182 down to 177, which won't be hard to get put up once I start training and actually be able to get my body back in order, and getting back to 100%.
And is the cast off, or do you still have the cast on? How's that arm healing up nowadays?
I'm actually out the cast right now, and I was let out the cast 4 weeks. They were definitely trying to get me to stay in there close to 12 weeks, the kind of break that I got. So, I actually only stayed in the cast for 6 weeks, and because of the fact that they wanted to cast me all the way up my arm and have me stable to kind of speed up the process of the healing, so I'm able to actually make it down in Miami. My trainers did a great job, and they kept me positive throughout the process because, like I said, it was definitely something that was hard for me to deal with. But, I'm healing well. I had some pain in it down here, but I just kind of sucked it up and put on the makeshift cast that they put on for me, and kind of covered it up so none of the scouts would actually notice that anything was wrong with me, and just push through it,
Hey, there you go. There you go. And it certainly looks like it worked out in your favor. Again, 3 tackles, 1 interception there at the National Bowl down there in Miami, Florida. He's Tyrai Anderson, the 2016 NFL draft prospect out of Lock Haven University, here on the CS podcast, presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible. And Tyrai, just a few more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. As always, your time is greatly appreciated. How do you feel about the small school label that will be coming along your way with, being from Lock Haven? I mean, is it something that you'll embrace? Will it give you an added chip on your shoulder? I mean, as you mentioned, coming out of high school, I mean, you're teammates with all these guys that went to, big D1 programs. Obviously, the number one dude that stands out is Noah Spence, who went to Ohio State. Now he's the co-defensive player of the year of the Ohio Valley Conference with Eastern Kentucky. So, again, I mean, how do you feel about the small school label? And as you look to defy the odds, I mean, will it give you an added chip on your shoulder?
Definitely, man. It's a little bit of both. It's something that I'm definitely going to run with. And I know a lot of people have been comparing me to Malcolm Butler. Some of the scouts down here from the bowl game actually made comparisons to me to Malcolm Butler. And, it's just something, it's exciting, but at the same time, I want to be Tyrai Anderson. I want to be Lock Haven's own. I want to do something to make myself stand out. So it's definitely something that's going to help push me throughout the whole process, and you brought up Noah, and Noah's definitely another guy, who I talk to on a day-to-day basis. He's like a little brother to me, a little big brother to me, but he's a guy that keeps me motivated, and he brought it to my attention, and he said, man, it's crazy that me and you are definitely going through this process together, man, how far you came, and he just congratulated me on everything, He told me he would meet me at the top and just stay humble. So, again, having guys like that in your corner is definitely uplifting.
No, absolutely. And, you mentioned Malcolm Butler, Tyrai. I mean, that's funny because now obviously everybody seems to know who Malcolm Butler is. But, when he was going through this same process that you are, not too many people were very aware of who Malcolm Butler was, where he came from, West Alabama. He was able to he got an all-star invite from the Medal of Honor Bowl, was able to play there, and I suppose he kind of piqued the New England Patriots' interest. Obviously was an undrafted free agent, didn't even get to sign an undrafted free agent contract. He wasn't a priority free agent. He went to the Patriots on a tryout, made the most of his opportunity there, and there he is making the game-saving interception just this past February in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I mean, you got to love hearing stories like that. And I think if you obviously keep up the hard work, which I fully expect you to do, I think your future is certainly looking like a bright one, looking like a Malcolm Butler type future. But like you said, you want to be Tyrai Anderson, Lock Haven's very own, kind of put the school on their map, kind of like how Malcolm Butler did. So, again, I think that your future is definitely looking bright. There's no doubt about that, especially with the big game yesterday. Now, just a couple more questions, Tyrai. What is one thing, we kind of talked a little bit about it earlier, physicality. Obviously, if you want to play this sport, you have to be very physical. But what is one thing, whether you like it or not, you need to have, or one thing that you need to be in order to be a successful cornerback?
It's a toss-up between the mental aspect of the game and the actual physical part of the game. But, seeing where I'm going mentally, I feel like it's definitely going to continue to go up. That's just something that I'm going to control either way. But something that I definitely know that I'm going to have to do to definitely be able to look the part is just keep training, man, and just keep making myself physically grow, and putting the right things inside my body, so that when I get out there with those guys that, I look the part, and I think that's the only thing that's definitely going to hinder me, like, unless I'm, for some strange reason, like you said, I don't put in the work, which is not going to happen. But, that's just something that I definitely think that I have to do, just continue to look the part.
And what do you say is your biggest strength as a cornerback? I mean, what has allowed you to be one of the top cornerbacks in all of Division II football? And what is something that you would like to work on to get better at?
I feel like that, I'm a very smart corner. And, I'm able to always put myself into great positions, through my film study. And I think that throughout the years, I was able to show that by the plays that I was able to make on the football field. And I think that from here on out, just continuing to work on that and continue to work on my feet, continue to work on my hands, and being physical at the line, I think that those are things that are definitely going to carry me on to the next level and make me stand out as time goes on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you mentioned just a second ago that, scouts down there in Miami were kind of comparing you to Malcolm Butler. For those who may not be too familiar with your game, if you were to compare yourself to somebody currently playing in the NFL, who do you think that would be and why?
People ask me this all the time. I like to compare myself to Brent Grimes. He's another guy out of the PSAC, we're similar in size. I know I'm a little bit taller than him because, like I said, Jim trains Brent, so I was able to hear that out of his own mouth that I'm a little bit taller than him. But, I think that we have similar game. I can see the hunger in his game when he's playing, just the underrated. You can just tell guys who are underrated in how they play, and that's just something that I've been able to pick up. And I'm sure that anybody in my position coming from a smaller school is able to evaluate NFL guys. Like you can see, I see the same fight in Malcolm Butler, man. So, I think that it's always beneficial to players like myself coming from smaller schools, man, just having that fight. So, again, like I just compare myself to Brent, I respect his game, and I actually look forward to getting to speak to him over this break coming in December. I'll talk to Jim and try to see if I can get some words of encouragement from him and probably, hopefully, see if he's available to try to actually get a couple workouts with him.
Oh, absolutely. And, of course, Brent Grimes, I mean, I would say he's certainly, one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. Like you mentioned, a guy from the PSAC, from Shippensburg, and like Malcolm Butler, both guys just, they weren't highly touted coming out of college. Not too many people knew about them, obviously coming from the Division II level. but they get the opportunity, they make the most of it, and now Malcolm Butler is the starting cornerback in New England, and we all know about what Brent Grimes has done throughout his career with Atlanta and of course, with Miami. And final question for you, Tyrai. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. If an NFL general manager was listening to this very interview, why should they want cornerback out of Division II's Lock Haven University, Tyrai Anderson, a part of their squad?
Man, like I said, man, I'm just a humble guy, and I just went through this entire process, man, just being humble, knowing that things will work out, because of the work that I put in, and knowing that it doesn't matter where I'm at, that, they will come and find me. So, I just continue to put in work, and just do what I had to do to put myself in positions to be able to say, that, I'm a prospect. I think that what I bring to the table is just a competitive hunger, man, that can almost be never matched, man. I just coming from where I come from, man, and like I said, not sure many people know, but I'm a father, actually. I have 2 kids, so this is definitely a job. This is something that I look forward to and something that I plan on taking very serious, man. I feel like I can help the team, man, and I'm willing to do anything and everything when asked to do.
Hey, well said, Tyrai. Well, like I mentioned, man, like I said, I really do appreciate your time. This was your second appearance on the CS podcast, and again, it really is a pleasure chatting with you. I love chatting with you. I love hearing your story, and congratulations on not only playing in the National Bowl, but obviously making a few big plays with that interception, with the 3 tackles, and I think an NFL team, any team, will be lucky to have you on their squad, and I'm certainly wishing you nothing but the best throughout this draft process, man. I think it's, like I said, I think you have a bright future.
Thanks, Chris, man. I definitely appreciate talking to you, man, whenever we're able to catch up. And I appreciate you, and I hope that our next conversation is definitely, about my experience in the NFL. So, I'm going to just keep grinding, man, staying humble, and putting in the work, man, and we'll see where it gets me.